Massive plates of noodles, buckets of fried chicken, and millions of views. Mukbang is one of the weirdest, most addictive trends on the internet. Growing exponentially in the last few years in both its weirdness and fascination, the Korean subculture originating in 2010 translates to eating broadcast. The subculture is centered around people eating large quantities of food, usually in a live stream, interacting with their fans. Mukbang was born in South Korea's highly individualistic and work-focused society, where many people ate alone. Watching someone eat can mimic the feeling of eating with company, addressing the hikikomori-style isolation. I actually did a video on hikikomori, which I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, at face value, it may seem relatively harmless and even helpful for people who deal with loneliness, but there is a dark side to mukbang that is tied to health, psychology, and culture. It didn't take long for it to grow global popularity, which in turn increased the number of content creators making mukbang videos known as mukbangers in a bid to increase their own popularity online. There are certainly ones that are forever embedded in infamy. Now, with the rise of popularity, this pushed creators to consume tens of thousands of calories in every video to gain as much traction as possible, pushing their mental and physical health to the absolute limit, causing burnout, anxiety, and a whole heap of health issues. Now, with that being said, let's break down the key issues with this community. The most obvious problem facing creators in the mukbang community is the overconsumption of food. Creators are eating 5,000 to 10,000 calories worth of food per video, often multiple times per week. They don't exactly eat salads in these videos either. For example, they eat things like fried chicken, pizza, a box of donuts, the list goes on. Loaded fries, ramen, burger, tubs of ice cream, all kinds of unhealthy shite. Majority of these videos promote gorging behaviors, which is extreme overeating, increasing their chances, of course, of diabetes, extreme weight gain, and a whole list of health issues that could come to haunt them for overindulging super unhealthy food. Extreme weight gain alone can take years off their lives if they don't manage their diet properly. It's entertainment built on self-harm. The mental strain it also creates on creators is clearly evident here too. The pressure of creating more and more outrageous videos piles up quick. Creators can become stuck in a toxic feedback loop where the more extreme the eating, the more engagement, but also the more self-harm. And trust me, if you're getting great engagement from it, it's very difficult to change the content out of fear of losing views and money. If you eat poor quality food, it affects your sleep and your mood. You're going to be more lethargic and irritated, which is the perfect recipe for depression and anxiety that only gets worse the more videos they create. Now, while watching mukbang videos can be a way for people to desensitize and overcome negative feelings associated with food, other psychological effects on viewers are not exactly ideal either. These streamers monetize their own eating disorders as well as promoting them to their viewers, and studies show that watching mukbang videos does correlate with eating disorders. A study done by the International Journal of Health and Addiction found the quantity of food eaten by mukbangers is so large that it can distort an audience perception of what is deemed an appropriate portion. Viewers tend to make poorer choices on the quality of the food as well as the amount of food they should be eating. This of course encourages viewers to overeat and, like the creators, can have potential health issues like increased weight gain, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, gallbladder diseases, and so on. In a world where obesity globally is already rising at a very alarming rate, the other issue as well is that thin mukbangers eating huge amounts of food can create unrealistic body image standards, especially for younger viewers. It can also fetishize overeating and what is known as feedism, which is a new term for me, which are people who enjoy the fantasy or reality of being fed and or gaining weight themselves. It's essentially promoting obesity through glamorizing overeating. Some mukbangers often purge after they eat, usually through vomiting or laxatives right afterwards, which of course would create an eating disorder for them while helping them maintain their weight, which also gives viewers this unrealistic impression that eating food in high quantities somehow can prevent weight gain because they are not aware of the purging. And also, another issue as well is that some creators even fake it, where a clear edit is done after each bite, not showing the audience the actual swallowing of food. And this has actually caused some controversy among the bigger mukbangers in the community, like Eat with Boki, which of course shows a lack of authenticity, which, to be fair, this is the internet, most things aren't authentic, but also highlights the issue with food waste. Now, another concern is in certain parts of Asia where mukbangers consume high amounts of seafood, there's been some backlash for the mistreatment of live animals. Like in some cases, eating animals while they are still alive, which is, unnecessary. For most people in the Western world, seeing something like that is very unpleasant, where for some in parts of Asia, it's just a normal way to consume food. Being a video creator myself, I know how much YouTube and TikTok love shock value. So as a result, this actually pushes mukbangers in the community to increase their portions to an insane amount to get their videos trending. The bigger the shock value, the bigger the rewards. A lot of creators also in rural parts of Asia, for example, use this as their main source of income and are willing to push to the absolute extreme at the cost of their health to survive. It has also gotten criticism in countries like in Africa and parts of Asia that are more food scarce for the amount of food waste that comes from making these videos. But if you want engagement, video shock value is always the way to go. And with more and more mukbangers cropping up in the community, the shock value will naturally increases also. The most infamous mukbanger in the Western world for sure is one that most of us would have heard of, which is Nikocado Avocado. He initially started as a violinist and vegan, starting at a weight at around 70 kilos to gaining 90 kilos, where at his worst he was weighing 160 kilos, which is about 352 pounds, by consuming 10 to 20,000 calories per video of pure and utter garbage. His eating was always emotional and chaotic, which drew in a big audience out of morbid curiosity, but also in many ways to laugh at his expense. He is the perfect example of why this community can be a toxic one. Nick would also have a lot of mental breakdowns, crying, throwing food, and treating his partner like absolute dog shit. He also staged a lot of this to gain more views, but the binge eating was very much real because of his clear and rapid weight gain. Now, he claims his antics are an online persona, but most would agree that there's a lot of the real him in these videos. But either way, the lines are very blurry here. But he's also promoting overeating in a country like America that is already dealing with an obesity epidemic, and it reinforces the idea that being overweight can be healthy and also has potential to make you a lot of money, certainly in his case. Now, in recent times, he has actually lost a massive amount of weight. He's down about 113 kilos, but he's also claimed that over a 2-year period, he'd been uploading pre-recorded content while secretly working on his weight loss journey. He referred to this approach as the greatest social experiment of his life, aiming to challenge viewers' perceptions and highlight the nature of online content consumption. Now, I'm not really sure how much that I would believe on his part, but whether or not it's true or not, it's still a cautionary tale and a great example of how the mukbang community does a lot more harm than good. Now, of course, there are other famous creators in the community like Yuka Kinishita or Shugi, I know I butchered those, I apologize, that raised their own questions around authenticity while promoting such poor eating habits in exchange for views and monetization. Many viewers would tell you that they watch it to curb their own loneliness, but when millions are watching someone destroy their health, I think that says something about us. It's a reflection on the content creators who are willing to destroy their health for views, and the morbid nature of the viewers who are happy to watch them slowly kill themselves consuming high volumes of food. There are creators out there, of course, that are trying to change things for the better by promoting more intuitive eating with smaller portions, as well as trying to be more transparent about body image and burnout. So mukbang on the surface might seem harmless. It might seem fun, but behind it all, it hides loneliness and the pressures of internet fame. Mukbang reflects the extremes of our digital world where excess gets rewarded, vulnerability gets monetized, and the line between reality and performance seems to get blurrier every single day. Like most subcultures online, they can have a positive effect on viewers, but does the good outweigh the bad? I would argue it does not. It really does beg the question to us as the audience, what are we really hungry for? But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe as always if you enjoyed the video. Let me know, of course, what you think in the comments down below. Are you someone that partakes in the mukbang community? Do you think it's harmless? Do you agree, disagree? Whatever opinion you have, let me know in the comment down below. I think overall it's a community that has some positive effect, but I think overconsumption of food is always going to have a negative effect on people's health, and I don't think it's worth sacrificing your health for views and monetization. And there's plenty of other communities that do it in different ways online, but mukbang seems to be one that's kind of hidden in the background that most people kind of would feel is harmless. But you know, this is my YouTube channel, and when it comes to me, I will always find communities and I will always find some of the negatives about them because I think they're important to highlight. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. As always, peace out.